Just coming here, just to talk about, these things that I get in the mail. Like I've been a resident of Lynwood, my whole life. I've been coming here. This is, the local hardware store. I just wanted to come and, talk a little bit about these things. Like everybody in the city, they get things in the mail when election time comes. And I mean, me being a Lynwood resident, a lot of this stuff is kind of like you live here long enough and and it's just like it doesn't add up. You know, I got
Sure.
this what you call
Dirty
political
mailer?
mudslinging. I don't know if you could see it very well. Or you probably got this in the mail.
Yes, I have.
You know, and I just wanted to come and kind of clear the slate, clear things up. Get your side of the story and your opinions about what's going on so close to the actual going out and vote. Tomorrow.
Yes. Unfortunately, this is what we call dirty campaigning. These types of flyers, excuse me, that they're sending out through the mail. This is what I call the opposition. People that have been there at the city for so many years, they do not want to lose their position. And most of these flyers, as you can see, it is paid by another committee. That indicates that this committee, these are the people that have been doing business with the community or the city rather for so many years that they're afraid to lose their contracts in the city. This is what I call pay to play because they're protecting the incumbents. They don't want the incumbents to come out and have new council members in there because they will be put to the test. And not only that, we will make sure that there will be some accountability in our city. And this is the reason why they recur to dirty tactics. They want to keep their incumbents in office.
Okay. Yeah, it's just like most people. Like myself. I work. So I rely on a lot on. I vote based on people that I know. I've known you my whole life.
Thank you.
And I have nothing bad to say. I think that when it comes to voting, it's really important. Yeah, you'll get a lot of this kind of stuff in the mail. Like they make all these promises, and that's the game of politics. But like what I'm trying to get at is like for me, it's really important to vote for people that you know. Um, like, you've been in the community for, you know, as long as I've been around, you know, and that's important because you have an interest that Linwood moves forward
Yes.
because you've been here your whole life, I've been here my whole life, and you have that interest. Other people, I don't know, they come in with all these promises, and in the end, do they even live here? How long have they lived here? Do they really are they using this political office as a stepping stone for something else? And that's kind of like what I wanted to touch on. If you could talk a little bit about
Sure.
that,
Sure.
because it's a part of politics.
Let me start by saying that this group, especially some of the incumbents and their affiliates, they have come out with about 6 to 7 mailers, propaganda for themselves, all this time during the election. They're not cheap. These mailers, they're an average of 5 to 6 to 7 thousand dollars each. Now the question would be, why would you spend about 40, 50, 60 thousand dollars on a local campaign where the base pay is about 975 a month? Doesn't that tell you something? Now the question would be, Why are special interests paying for all their campaign? It's I always believe that nothing is for free in this world. They pay for your campaign, and unfortunately you gotta pay back. And who suffers? The resident. How? They suffer through higher water rates, through higher property taxes, and your sales taxes as well. Nothing comes free in this world. Let's be realistic. Now, some of these candidates that are running with the opposition, I call them the opposition because they're staunch political people that want to make politics their career. That is unfortunate. This is a part-time job, and I think anybody that runs for city council should be proud to serve their community. Unfortunately, some of these people that I call the opposition, they have never been involved in their community until maybe about a year ago, and all of a sudden they've done so many things that's unbelievable. Be careful from what you hear from these people. And yes, as a matter of fact, thank you for reminding me. I have been serving my community for 30 years, and I have really been involved in my community.
Well, I mean, for the most part, that's kind of what I wanted to talk about. You know, it's important to go out and vote, and it's important when you go out and vote to be mindful, like not to be swayed by these kinds of mudslinging, because in the end, you know, we all, I mean, for the people who are watching this, we live here, and you know, like a lot of times, you know, when it comes to these elections, you know, everybody, you know, we all are busy, and a lot of times it's hard to make a good decision, you know, because of that, and because a lot of this kind of things, they muddy the water, you know, and you know, it just makes it easier for people with money, you know, to get their way. You know, like when I got this in the mail, I mean, the first thing I thought is just like, where's Ramon's? And what do I find? Is the only thing I find is you know, I mean, these people can afford to throw, you know, mud or trash in your mail, you know, all to get their way. I mean, it's like you said, this stuff isn't cheap, you know, like these things cost money, and I mean, you have to ask yourself, like you said, like, what is their motivation, you know, spending this kind of money to talk trash about somebody, you know? So like I said, you know, you've been a part of the community as long as I've been around, you know. That's, I mean, I'm only 25 years old, you know, but I mean, these things worry me when I see them, because I plan to stay here, you know, and I don't want Lynwood to end up like a lot of these other cities, you know, that get overrun by a bunch of crooks, you know, and they get overrun that way because people aren't paying attention. You know, it's easier to make off with a bag of money when no one's looking.
True, very true.
And that's all I want. That's what I came here. You know, I just want to clear that up. You know, and make a point. You know, go out and vote. You know, like a lot of times, you know, people are discouraged about voting, and they don't think that their vote matters, but it does. You know, as long as people are around that care, you know, and they have an interest in maintaining their community, you know, things will change for the better. That's the only way things get better. And if you want to keep them, you know, good, you have to keep an eye out, you know, and make sure you're voting for the right reason.
You know, you are so right about people, our community being discouraged about voting. As I have been walking, canvassing votes, a lot of the people say, why should I vote? Well, nothing changes. They're all corrupt. And my response to them, I go, let's have faith. One day we will get a good council there that will be that will be taking care of their community. And the main thing is that you keep on voting. Make sure you vote, please. Do not stay home, because this is the only way that you will be able to change your community. If you stay quiet, nothing will happen. Nothing will happen. And the only thing I can tell you is please go out to vote. Uh, Make sure that your voice is heard. Eventually, one day we will have a very good council, and they will be proud of our city as well.
Thank you so much for your time, Ramon. Like, I really appreciate it. You know, this is the kind of thing that people expect from their people who serve them in public office, is to have their voices heard. You know, and I really appreciate that.
I thank you, and if I may just add something, please vote Ramon Rodriguez, Rowland Becerra, and Maricruz Sanchez. Thank you very much. Thank you for your support.